You are now tuned into Taste of My Naked Truth podcast. I am your host, Cosmic Waters. May my words inspire you and remind you to remain true to you as you walk authentically in your truth, dripping self-love and unapologetically choosing you. Hello, naked truthers. Welcome back. So, on today's episode, I want to dive into a self-realization that I had. Something that was really brought to the surface that I received clarity on, right? That the mirror was held up to my face and I had to deal with my shit. And man, was it interesting as fuck. It was beautiful in so many ways. So let's dive into it. Now, how many of you out there refer to yourselves as loners or embrace the loner energy? Just keep that in mind. So I've always been that person that has fully embodied, embraced, claimed, identified with being a loner and everything that means and comes with, right? Usually just sticking to myself, always on my introvert shit, not really mingling too much when I'm out and about, just kind of keeping a low profile, making sure that I kind of just stay below the radar, right? Hiding behind the scenes kind of energy. And it didn't hit me that, how do I even put this? That I was keeping myself under an energy that was actually now becoming detrimental. And why do I say that? Because recently I was having a conversation with someone, with a close friend of mine, and we were talking. And I was telling them that I was a loner, claiming the energy like I've always done, right? Because I'm honestly not one that has many friends, right? I don't. And I don't go out much, and I'm usually just kind of chilling by myself. I do socialize with people as far as on these social media apps, but I guess what some would consider in real life, I do not hang out much at all. I don't. And it's kind of got into a place where meeting new people and then hanging out with them was low-key starting to make me cringe because I had become so comfortable in my loner energy. So now, back to this conversation, right? So we're talking and he's like, that's a cloak that you live under. And when he first said that, I'm like, a cloak. And, he goes into talking about how I put myself under this loner cloak to not have to deal with rejection. And I was like, And I had to let that sit. And I'm like, wait a minute. Not you exposing me to me. I had to let that sit with me for a second and let it marinate. What is being said in this moment? And I did a scan over my life. And I began to ask myself, why did I begin to engage in loner energy? Why did I begin to separate myself from others or from the world? And it was indeed to avoid rejection, right? In some sense, it was you know, me feeling like I was already misunderstood or not seen or not heard, like me feeling like I was already invisible. So I kind of kept myself in that energy, and I also feared judgment a lot from others and criticisms, right? And of course, this is stuff that I've had work through, yet I was still claiming the energy of the loner. So in me doing the scan over my life, I'm like, wow. So pretty much what I did was I separated myself from everyone else before I even gave them the chance to see me, to hear me, to feel my presence, to even invite me in, to walk up to me, to speak to me, to welcome me. And it was like I was putting myself in this energy of having a repelling aura, right? So let's give an example. If I'm in school and I go and I sit at a table by myself, I automatically put my headphones in, I eat my food, I'm probably looking down at my phone. I'm not open to really talking to anybody. And I kind of give off that energy of like, don't bother me, leave me alone. I don't want to associate with anybody. I'm in my own space. I'm here, it's me, that's it. And if I'm automatically putting out this energy of repelling, then people look at me like, okay, cool, she doesn't want to be bothered. So let me not bother her. Let me not go sit next to her. Let me not go introduce myself. It was kind of the energy of seeming unapproachable, right? And as I think about this, I'm like, damn. Like all these other instances came up to where I isolated myself. It wasn't truly the world isolating me. I isolated myself. I did, I didn't invite myself in. I didn't openly speak to people. I didn't make any of those moves either. And then I also made sure that I was withdrawn. And so as I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, just analyzing everything. Like, when did this start? Why did I begin doing this? And why the hell have I done it for so long? It had become comfortable. It had became my safety net. It had become the cloak that I was so used to living under. Yet deeper inside of me, there was a part of me that was craving the connection, the human, connection, the bonding, the getting to know new people, meeting new friends, right? Being invited. There's a part of me that craved that. And there was a part of me that wondered, well, why don't I have a lot of friends? Or why don't I have a bestie? Or, why is it that I don't make friends easily? Or whatever the case may be. And this whole time I was doing it to my fucking self with my energy, right? With just being put in this comfort zone of being by myself. And it was like a mind fuck when I actually sat there and thought about it, right? The one thing that I feared, which was rejection, judgment, criticism, right? All of that, I was doing to myself. I was rejecting myself. I was denying myself of that which I truly desired, of that which I feared. I became what I feared. I did it to myself. And I'm like, this is crazy, right? Here I am, so proud. Like, yeah, I'm a loner. I be by myself, And it's funny because a part of me has always felt low-key conflicted with the energy of the loner. I used to go back and forth in my mind, like, am I really supposed to be this deep of a loner? Because it becomes different when you go into solitude and, you enjoy your time alone, you recharge, you rejuvenate, you receive that clarity, you dive deep within to, work on yourself, that level of awareness and all that healing energy, that's different than purely isolating yourself from the world. There's a difference between isolation and solitude, in my opinion. So it was just like, the inner conflict was like, go out, have fun, mingle, meet new people. You're being too much of a loner. Why are you isolating yourself from the world like this? And the other part of me was like, no, I'm comfortable in my energy. I have to deal with nobody else. It's just me. And I became so comfortable that when people did try to become my friend or make an attempt to get to know me, it was like a radar would go off, an alarm would go off, like, oh my God, somebody's in my space, somebody's in my energy. Now I have to welcome you in to my space that only consists of me, which I'm so used to it just being me. And now it feels like intruder vibes. Right? And it's like, do I really want to let this person into my energy? Do I really want to let this person into my space? And they can be a really good person. Yet I'm so used to being alone. I'm so used to being by myself. And now it's like, well, how do I share myself with somebody when all these years I've only had to share me with me? On a deeper level anyway. And then it becomes that inner conflict. Right? And this, interferes when you begin to get in friendships, when you begin to get in relationships, or, begin to form those bonds, because now you just kind of want to pull away. It's like you want to run back to what your safety net was, right? That energy of being by myself. And don't get me wrong, understand that we all need me time, because I can indeed mingle with people, and then I'm like, okay, cool, I've had enough of everybody else's energy. I'm gonna go walk off for a little bit, recharge, be by myself, and then I'll be back. Kind of vibes. Like, I do that too. So that's a bit different though than literally me subconsciously isolating myself and not even realize that I'm doing it. It's just natural. It had became a habit. It had became what I known. It had became what I was used to, right? It had became the way that I lived my life, the way that I approached the world, right? Walking around with the loner cloak. I had so deeply identified with it, I should say. Now I'm just like, damn. I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, yo, I don't want to identify with this anymore. I created this cloak when I was younger out of fear, out of a quote-unquote protective mechanism. What the fuck do I need to be protected from? Why am I hiding? Why am I running from connection? Why am I running from the thing that I actually do desire? Right? And I refuse to let this be a fear. I refuse to hold on to any form of a thought, a pattern, a belief, a habit, a behavior that is not conducive to my growth. And this is not. It was created when it was created for the purpose that I meant for it to serve then. And now I'm just like, I'm over it. I don't desire to be a loner anymore. I don't. And so I'm freeing myself of the title. I'm freeing myself of identifying with this energy. I'm freeing myself of this isolation that I have placed myself in for so long. I'm freeing myself because I put myself in a prison of isolation. You know what I'm saying? Rejection is a part of life. It is. And I came to terms with that. Rejection, I don't fear it anymore, honestly. I understand it's a part of life. And I look at rejection as a protection, right? It's like, not everybody is meant to like you anyway. Not everything that you feel you want is actually what you need. And so sometimes you won't receive it because it is not meant for you to have. That is not the path that is meant for you to go down. That is not the man that you are meant to be with. That is not the woman that you're supposed to have as a bestie. That is not the car that you need to be driving. That is not the house that you need to live in, right? And sometimes our wants can tend to override what is truly best for us. And we miss out on the bigger picture of this is not good for you, right? We ignore the red flags. We paint over the truth that is being shown to us to make it, quote unquote, more pretty, to make it more in alignment with what we want. But is it truly in alignment? No, it's not. Not always, right? And so, man, the last few days, because this just happened a couple days ago, this realization, the last few days, I'm like, wow, I free myself. I free myself. And it's been beautiful, right? And then I can say all this and still retreat back into the loner energy. So now it's like, okay, this awareness has been brought to my attention. What am I going to do about it? Where does that change come into play, right? Because it's one thing to say, I don't desire to be a loner anymore. And then to actually take that and apply it. To take the wisdom, the awareness that I have learned about myself and apply it to my life. To start implementing those changes within my life and making different decisions, right? Moving differently. Approaching the world and life differently. Seeing it from a different lens outside of the loner lens, right? To finally stop isolating myself, to let myself be fully and completely 100% heard, seen, and felt by those that are meant to hear, feel, and see me, right? To finally stop hiding behind the scenes and understand that it's okay for me to actually be center stage with the spotlight on me when it's that time for me to do so. It's just been really interesting. Really interesting. And so I ask you, what cloak are you wearing? What cloak are you hiding under? It's kind of like people asking, what mask are you wearing? But I feel like cloak energy is a bit deeper. It really is. And dive a little bit, on a deep end. When did it start? Why do you do it? What label, title do you hold so near and dear to your heart? And is it truly serving you or is it hindering you? What labels and titles are you attached to? And if they were stripped away from you, how would you feel? Would you feel like something was missing? Would you truly feel like yourself? And do you know who you are up under or without these labels and titles? Or do they hold all the weight in your life? Is your sense of self-worth dependent upon a label or title or that which you have cloaked yourself in or under? Some things to think about along this process. It has been a beautiful sense of awareness. And I'm so grateful that this was brought to my attention, that it finally came to the surface. I'm so grateful. And I'm here for it. I'm here for the change. And I'm here for the new energy and the new opportunities that this will bring, especially the new people, right? Because it's being open. And when your energy is at a place of receiving, it makes all the fucking difference in your life. It's kind of like how I've said in previous episodes of you desiring to manifest or bring something into fruition, but your energy says otherwise, right? It's kind of like I can be sitting here telling myself, man, I desire a partner. Yet the other part of me is like, oh, nah, I want to be a loner. Well, if you desire a partner, but at the same time, you are pushing out this loner energy, are you truly going to be open to that partner when they come into your life? Are you truly going to open up your space? Are you truly going to open up your heart? Are you truly going to open up yourself? Are you going to even allow yourself to interact and speak with this potential partner? Are you going to retreat back into your little hole, into your cave and isolate? Now you're pushing away that which you truly desire or has been asking for or wanting to manifest and bring into fruition. So it's being mindful of the seeds that you're planting. What soil are you planting them in? What are you fertilizing this seed with? How are you watering this seed? And are you helping it grow, or are you literally killing it the moment you put it in the soil? I don't know, just it's so satisfying in this moment. It's so satisfying. So I just wanted to share that realization. I've had quite a few surface lately, and this also leads into intimacy, but I'm gonna save that for another time because that goes deep with me just allowing myself to be okay with desiring intimacy. So stay tuned for that, because I'm definitely gonna dive into intimacy and what that means and what that looks like for me, and how I've had to learn to navigate through that and to finally stop denying myself of it. It's been an interesting journey within itself. So, death to the loner energy. I free myself. Man, we really gotta start just being mindful of the titles we give ourselves, of the characteristics we place upon ourselves, and the expectations we set for ourselves to live up to, and the behaviors we continue to play out, because a lot of them, including thoughts that we have, the patterns that we have, are just subconsciously happening. We're just, naturally moving through life, but not realizing that these particular behaviors or thought patterns or beliefs, habits, are literally just holding us back, not allowing us to be great and be dope as fuck and truly step into our power and live a beautiful ass life. So this is just a chapter in my story, a part of my healing journey, one of the layers that I'm shedding. And I just wanted to share that with y'all, give y'all something to think about. So, my beautiful naked truthers, as always, I love y'all. I'm grateful for you being here. I'm grateful for your presence and your energy. I'm grateful for all of you that come and listen to me, that share my podcast with others. I'm grateful for those of you that have supported my podcast and taken the time to donate to the podcast. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate every listener. I have a lot of people listening to me from all over, and it's so beautiful. Wherever you're listening from, thank you for being here. Your presence is truly appreciated. I feel a sense of peace and just a sense of wholeness, like a sigh of relief almost. Like my soul, my spirit is just like, yes, finally. She has freed us from this energy. So, yes. As always, life is as beautiful as you allow it to be. Self-love and awareness is key, as well as your perspective. Be mindful of what you see, and always honor and embrace your inner peace. Choose wisely, beautiful souls. Much love. Peace.